Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Unit Lost. My name is Kirioth and I've been messing about on The Crew beta. Now The Crew is of course the racing game from Ubisoft. It's currently in its second beta and apart from a terrible storyline and a few UI issues, it's quite a fun game. I'm quite enjoying it. Also, I apologise in advance. For some reason my webcam has gone all mangled and janky and keeps changing the brightness. My apologies for that. Anyway, on to the topic at hand, The Crew. Now, aside from a bit of UI issues and a terrible storyline, there's one thing that's been a bit weird about The Crew that I haven't enjoyed, and that's the fact that the beta has been locked at 30 frames a second. Now, you could argue, but Kiri, it's the beta, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you can't actually change that option at all that is the issue. As you can see, due to the wonders of technology, there is now a lovely little clip of The Crew running, and in the top left you can see an FPS counter from DxStory, I always call it Doctore, which is the software I use for recording games. Number on the left is the frame rate, and the number on the right is the frame rate that it's being recorded at. As you can see, both are locked at 30. Now, that is not anything to do with Doctore, that is entirely the game. You cannot change it. People, understandably, were a bit pissed off about the fact that you couldn't actually change the FPS, and so they went to Ubisoft and they said, excuse me, what's going on here? Any chance? And Ubisoft said, well, the game will release at 30 FPS on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Great, brilliant. No, you're not brilliant. Oh, you wanted more. Yeah, we wanted more. So, it was pointed out that you could fuck about with the game files and actually eke 60 frames a second out of the game, but this was not officially supported. It's possible, but not officially supported. So, great. The game is just locked. So when they say it's a beta, don't worry about it, what they actually mean is, no, it's locked. But no. It seemed like that. It seemed like that temporarily, until a spokesman for the developer turned up. And they said, well, it is beta, it's not the final product, things can change. And in fact, we are aiming, mind you, I'm emphasising this word because of how fucking stupid it is in this context, aiming for 60 frames a second on PC. Can someone please, answers on the back of a postcard, leave it in the comments, carrier pigeon, smoke signals, whatever, explain to me what the fuck aiming for 60 frames a second means in the context of anything. Aiming for it? Are we going to get 57 frames a second because they couldn't quite get the last three out? Are we going to get 65 because they overshot slightly? What the fuck does that mean? That is terrible. Okay, it's terrible on a few levels. Firstly, the fact that they've got to aim for it means that there was essentially no prior thought that they would need to get 60 frames a second out of the game. Okay? Aiming for it, that's what that says to me. That actually, we had no intention of doing it, but, you know, now that people have complained, we kind of have to try. That's what aiming for means in my mind. Why, as well, is it only 30 frames a second on the consoles? Now, at the moment, they're saying it's for stability and performance. And yeah, you're right. If it's limited to 30 FPS, the performance will be better because, well, frankly, for a lot of machines, that is just going to be absolutely beneath them in every way. Are the consoles not capable of 60 FPS? Is that what's going on? Because while I might feel bad for people who play the game on console, because I won't, I'll play it on PC. I mean, I do have a PlayStation 4 here, as you can see. But I'm still going to play it on PC because that is my primary platform for gaming. I mean, it sucks to be them. I'm not particularly happy about it, but I'm not going to play it on the consoles. I want to play it on the PC. So why the fuck should I be limited by what the consoles can and cannot do? I'm not playing on a console, I'm playing on a PC. I mean, much though people like to say, oh, PC gaming's dead, it actually really isn't. Another thing is it the fault of the consoles? Is that what's happened to Ubisoft? They've been releasing stuff at 30 frames a second for God knows how long, or lower, because the Xbox 360 and the PS3 simply couldn't do any higher than that, and now people are used to it. So it's a case of, well, we could up the frames per second, we could provide a better experience, we could make the game even prettier, but no, people won't notice. Or if they do notice, that means we'll have to put more effort into every game, because everyone will want 60 frames a second. Oh no, God, fuck that, no, we'll just go the lazy route. Is that what it is? Is it intentional laziness because they assume no one will care? Because I've got news for you, people do fucking care. I've got a PC capable of running that game at God knows what. I do not want to be limited to 30 frames a second. Firstly, it looks terrible. And just before anyone does this, and there's always one ill-informed pillock. Firstly, your eyes are not limited to 30 frames a second. Well, actually, no, firstly, eyes don't work that way, but even if they did, they would be capable of seeing more than 30 frames a second, okay? That's just wrong. Anyone who says that, you're an idiot. Educate yourself, Jesus Christ. All I want, right, I've tried to come up with, like, many arguments for why this should be the case in my head before I started recording this. I even wrote a few things down. But really what it boils down to is I'm selfish and I want the games I play to look as good as they possibly can, and I know I have the hardware to do that. So why the fuck should I sit here and accept some silly bint saying, well, we're just going to release it at 30 frames a second, but you can mess about with it. Why should I sit here and accept someone saying, well, we're going to aim for 60, as though it's some sort of lifetime fucking achievement, getting a game to run at a decent frame rate? Why should I accept the fact that for some bizarre reason, there are publishers and developers out there who think it's perfectly acceptable to have a game running basically subpar, purely because they can't be fucking arsed to do anything else? What the hell is going on? What? Are we stuck in 2004? I know the old consoles were like a decade old, but speaking for myself and for a lot of PC gamers, our fucking PCs aren't that old. And even if they were, with just a bit of tweaking, a bit of optimization, you could get a decent frame rate out of the fucking game, because guess what? It should have graphics options. And by turning things down and turning other things up and turning some stuff off, you can increase the overall performance and still get a game that you think looks good. Why the fuck would you have to sit there and go, well, we're aiming for 60, as though you had no intention of doing it? Don't sit there thinking, we'll do it if we get called out on it. Sit there and think, you know what would make this game better to play? You know what would make it a better experience, more fun, more worthwhile, more value for money? If we put some fucking effort into the frames per second and made it look as good as it possibly can. How about you take some fucking pride in your work, and instead of just trying to fob it off at the lowest possible denominator, you actually make an effort to do something with it? Jesus Christ. Is it too much to ask for that we actually get performance from games at the moment that are befitting of the fucking year they're made in? It's not 2004, it's 2014. And as such, I would kind of expect, given the rate of improvement in technology, that we could by default expect better FPS than 30. Please!